Hey, it's MK, and I am here with another layout for you guys for my Scrappin' on a Ship layout, and I am playing along kind of with May I Scraplift You, only I am calling it inspired by. So I'm not directly scrap lifting Dorothy Guinan, but I was inspired by one of her layouts to do a double page layout, and it actually ends up becoming a double page layout with a small 4x12 insert in the middle of it. But instead of actually doing direct scrap lifts and all of our layouts start to become the same, I have decided to be inspired by. I decided to pull the elements that drew me to her layout and bring them into one of my layouts, but yet make it my own at the same time. So surprisingly, with that inspiration in effect, it actually turns out looking kind of sort of like Dorothy's layout. What I love Dorothy's layouts, by the way. She is Scrapbooking Quebec here on YouTube. If you guys want to go check her out, I'll have her link down below so you can go and check out her videos and whatnot. And she just does a phenomenal job at sharing her layouts. So right now I am sharing with you guys all of the Kit Conspiracy elements that I have brought in. Now I thought that I had another map print from the 49 and Market Wherever collection, but I did not. I don't have any more of that paper, you guys. I am shocked. So instead I chose a P13 paper, which led me to these nighttime flight photos. We actually had a red eye from Houston into Miami the night before our cruise, and so it wasn't technically a red eye, but it is. I think we got in 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. It was super late by the time that we actually got into Miami, and so we got to see all of these bright lights from the sky. And I mean, just the web of street lights, the webbing of the city. And I love it, you guys. I really do love it. And so with that being said, the little bursts that were left over from my Good Vibes paper, brought me thinking about the lights, right? The shining of the lights poking up and whatnot. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect layout. It's the perfect colors. It's just perfect for these nighttime photos of flying in the sky. So I went with it, but I had more photos than I wanted to get rid of. I just couldn't pick and choose, you guys, truth be told. So I went ahead and did a small 4x12 insert in the middle, and I do have super old, close to my heart flip-flops, where back in the day they used to have 4x12, 6x12, 8x12, and I still have a few of those left in my stash. So that is how I'm going to insert this in between, and what they do is they attach directly to a 12x12 page protector. And mine will attach directly into the center of or not the center, but directly on the left-hand side of my right-hand page. So when it flips and flaps, it'll just be right tucked in there. So absolutely perfect. I love this, you guys. I really do. All right, so I pulled out these Sparkle Alphas that I have had in my stash for a hot minute, and I thought I was going to do Bright City Lights, and then I thought, no, I'm not sure if that's what I want it to say. So as I'm putting in the last little lights, I decided I don't want this the word city. I want to know what city. So I'm going to put city back and actually bring out the word Miami. So Bright Lights of Miami is what it is going to end up saying instead of Bright City Lights, because it just wasn't. Yeah, but I'm going to look for a tiny word sticker first to see if I can have it say Bright Lights of Miami. So yeah, got to make sure you got all the stuff before you change your marbles, right? So a couple things that I am going to pull from Dorothy's layout that I have fallen in love with. Oh my gosh. And one of these days I might actually scrap lift it as well. But I plan on doing a large focal photo or a large focal piece over on my left-hand page, which is the papers going through the map paper that make it look like city lights, and then of course the two flying pages where I actually have the wing of the airplane instead of just an aerial view of the city, which are the rest of the photos. So I'm going to make those my focal piece, my central piece, even though I'm not putting my title on that page like what Dorothy did. I'm taking my title and bringing it over to the right-hand page. And I added in the insert, so that's got nothing to do with any inspiration at all, except for she used this bright orange photo mat for her 3 photos going down her right page. I'm going to set up my layout just like she did, but instead of shrinking my photos a little bit smaller and having a full yellow piece, because I don't have that, I'm going to cut strips off and make a faux yellow background or a faux yellow border on either side of my 3 photos on the right side. And then I'm also going to bring in that strip on my 4-inch piece because my piece wasn't exactly 8 inches across. My blue piece that I'm bringing in from the Midnight Garden collection that I used in Kit Conspiracy. So all of these pieces that I am bringing in are leftover pieces from my Kit Conspiracy kits that I have merged together to work really well. So I've got Good Vibes as far as the yellow burst. That is my Good Vibrations pieces, and then I've got a couple Good Vibes die cut pieces left over. All of the words are from Midnight Garden. The 4-inch piece, well, it was 8 inches ish that I cut in half to make 2 4-inch pieces. That is also from Midnight Garden. I did bring in I brought in 2 base pages from P13 to help me tell my story, and then the other yellow piece is from the Wherever collection. As well as all the rub-ons that I'm using. They are from my Wherever collection. So I think the only thing that I did not bring in for this specific layout is anything from the Spring Garden collection. I don't think I have anything represented that I can see just offhand coming in, because I've got the labels and all of my icons and things. They are all from either Good Vibrations or the Midnight Garden or Wherever collection. So, but which is fine. I will be bringing in a couple more kits that I made, mixing up all of these collections for a couple cruise layouts. I will be doing that. All right, so I was super excited, you guys, to put these bursts on this map paper, because instantly I got that feeling of the picture. Like, it just came together as soon as I put it down. And of course, I knew this layout wasn't going to have a whole lot of dimension, so I did scuff up the edges of my white or of my yellow bursts. I also did that because when I cut out the other color, which I think was a little minty green, minty gray, when I cut that out, my cuts weren't exactly straight. And so I decided that in order to make it look like it was meant to be, I just scuff up the edges, you know, and then nobody will know that I can't cut a straight line. It'll be okay. I also decided to pop up my photos because, again, you've got that lack of dimension, lack of personality per se for my photos. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Now, this is quite a lengthy video because I am technically doing 3 pages right here for you, and I'm building them one at a time instead of trying to wrap my head around trying to build everything all at once. I do end up just doing 1 page at a time. So this one here is my focal page with you know, just a beautiful background and a beautiful focus on the photos. That is what I was trying to go for here. And when I look at Dorothy's layout, I get that feeling as well. From her layout is I see these beautiful focal photos that, you know, she wanted to draw your attention to, but then you turn around and you have the other page of photos that she just, in my opinion, didn't want to leave out. And that's kind of where That was kind of the what I see as far as when I look at her layout. It definitely looks like just a great mix of photos and whatnot. I love how she uses the larger elements in her page. Like I said, I do want to scrap lift this layout because it is gorgeous and it gives me a great idea for those large geotags, but I didn't have a purpose for the geotags within these photos. And so I was just bringing in from her layout what I needed to build my layout, if that makes any sense. So I'm inspired by her layout to build my layout. So anyways, I am doing a lot of little bits and pieces, but instead of them being above the photo, I'm doing them below the photo. Here is an insert that I just decided to add because, again, photos that I just can't seem to live without, you guys. And yeah, I get that way when it comes to a trip. I have a hard time picking and choosing my favorites, and I want them all. And I know I've said that in previous videos, but it is truth, you guys. It is absolutely honest to goodness truth that it's hard to pick your favorite photos when you like them all. And so I love adding little pages and things like this into my album and flip flaps and making my album really interactive for the viewer or even for myself. I love seeing them all come together and having all these different sized elements throughout my layout because I am, or album, I'm sorry, because then it seems more interesting to flip through instead of 12 by 12, 12 by 12, 12 by 12. You get the idea. And so I really do enjoy it. All right, so I thought I was going to need a 12-inch strip going up and down, and I come to find out I do not. I did not need that that exact 12-inch piece, and I did cut one of my blue strips to 4 inches. The other one on my right hand side right now is a little on the shy side of being 4 inches. So when I glue it to the back side of this 4-inch piece that I'm working on now, I will end up being able to cover up the gap with my other yellow strip. But I thought that I was going to need a full 12-inch strip of yellow for this side, and then I realized, oh, I don't need that because my photo is going to cover up a large gap, and I wasn't going to shrink my photo. Could I have shrunk my photo? Yes, I could have definitely shrunk my photo, but then you in my opinion, I lose the details of what I wanted to see in the photo. And so that is why I opted not to shrink my photos. All right, I added one of those globes up there because it's going to be the base for a cool, well, for what I have for clustering. I did not want to add anything really to my kit. I just really wanted to use what I pulled out. So I've got this cool little banner that's got the airplane on it, and of course the camera, which makes it, which tells me or makes me have that feel of I'm in the sky and I'm taking pictures of the top of the world. And so that's basically where that cluster is coming from, and the globe just portrays that beautifully. I do have this "Oh Happy Day." I wish it said "Oh Happy Night." I mean, Midnight Garden. You would have thought that it had a lot more night references, but it does not. And so I'm sitting here thinking of "Oh Happy Day, oh Happy Day." Where do I use it? And I bring it in multiple times, you guys. I really do, and I apologize about that because I really wanted to use it. It's the perfect blue, but it just doesn't work. So instead, I'm bringing in some tiny word stickers, black on white. Or nope, I'm sorry, white on black, tiny word stickers. And the first one I found was magic. And the more I kept looking, the more I was like, I'm done. I think this is perfect. It doesn't need any more. Why are you still looking? So here I kind of got backwards. I put my yellow on the left-hand side, and I should have put my yellow on the right-hand side. So this is my bad, and I don't even notice it until I am completely done with the layout and I go to start flipping and flapping it as a completed set of 3 layouts, right? Did not even cross my brain that I accidentally put this on the wrong side. So when it flips and flaps, it does kind of look a little wonky. But you know what? In the end, I'll get over it. Here I am going to put a 12-inch strip of this yellow. Now this yellow is a leftover from the Wherever collection. I had a triangle piece cut out from one of my papers, and honestly, I need this to be a 12-inch little strip because my photos are going to have a gap. I've got two little photos and I'm going to end up with a gap between the two photos, and so I really wanted to cover up the whole strip, the whole side, so I don't have that. And then of course all of that went out the window when I decided I'm going to put my my label right there. So I technically didn't need the full strip, but when I first thought about it, I did need it. I was in the mindset of, oh, I'm going to have that gap, so it will be seen and I will need it. But then in the end, I end up covering up the gap and you don't really see it. All right, so I'm going to put this compass rose down on the bottom. I wasn't really sure if I could see it on, dark on dark print, and it shows up like a watermark. It was perfect. I absolutely loved it. And then of course above it says the word hotel, and I don't need that word, so I'm just going to use it as a layering piece and an interesting piece on my label so it doesn't look all blank and boring. So I'm going to put it like it was stamped on there. And then I'm going to end up covering it up to where it's not legible and it just looks like more like a background stamp more than anything. So I've got the word adventure from my Midnight Garden collection. And I'm going to put that, and it's not going to say Hotel Adventure, I promise. It's going to have a cute little airplane going on, and I love bringing in a little bit more of the yellow, and then a couple enamel dots that I'm going to bring in as well, just to get these enamel dots from the Wherever collection used up. I do find it hard to use the enamel dots where it's patterned. Some of them have polka dots, some of them have stripes, and I was struggling just a little bit. So I didn't want to waste all of my my label. So I added a tiny, I added the tail end of my label down on the bottom with another little airplane and a couple more enamel dots to get them used up. All right, so here is where I am going to finish off my double page layout, or I should say companion page, but it is technically a double page. And I have to say all the yellow pieces bring it all together, and I'm so super happy. So super happy. I do have to cut off more of the yellow strips. So here is my leftover yellow piece, and I'm going to cut off 4 more pieces so I can make a faux photo mat. So it looks like I have a giant orange piece. I know it's not orange, it's yellow, but Dorothy's layout was an orange, like she had a large orange panel on her right page, and I don't have access to that. So I'm going to phony baloney it and make it look like I have a large yellow panel, even though my photos are going to butt up right next to against it. And of course the one on the far left, or I'm sorry, the far right, is going to be scuffed up. So it has that, it just has a little bit of dimension going on, because with the rub-ons and the thickers, it's going to be a pretty flat layout. I've pretty much used up all of the embellishments on the other 2 pages, so I don't have a whole lot to go on. So here are my photos all lined up, and I also don't have a whole lot more to build on that right-hand border like what Dorothy did, but I'm still pretty happy with the way that it looks. And like I said, the yellow continuity all the way through the layout really does pull it together, and I really do feel like I got the effect I was going for that drew me towards Dorothy's layout to begin with. So I'm just super excited, super happy with how it turned out. Okay, so every time that I do 3 photos going supposedly perfect up and down the page or all the way across the page, I always do the first and the last and the middle later, because then the middle I can kind of use it as a buffer to overlap or fill in a gap or anything like that that is needed, if it is needed at all, for papers that aren't perfectly 12 by 12, or I accidentally cut a little bit too much of the branding strip off, things like that. So I definitely like to do the first photo and then the last photo, and then use that middle photo to hide any incidences that might have happened as far as gaps and not being super perfect with cutting and stuff. Okay, so I have my giant city scene right here in this, it's a thing, in this rub-on, and I could not wait to put it in it's going to be the center of my title, not exactly the center, but it's going to be part of my title. All of the rest of the rub-ons are going to be part of my title, just like what Dorothy built up, but instead of Dorothy using her elements to frame her title in, she framed those giant geotags with photos and stuff inside it. So super fun. I can't remember what these little words said. I did end up using my fingernails and my fingers to do most of the rub-ons, but because these ones here were on the bigger side, I am using the tool that comes with the rub-ons instead of just my finger. But for the smaller ones that I used on the smaller pages, they go on like stickers, you guys. They really do. A little bit of rub and they're stuck on there, and they're amazing. They really are. And I'm also impressed with how well they show up on these darker pages. I really do like that too. And again, it helps with my effect that I'm going for my city lights. Okay, so I didn't want to make you guys watch me put the alphas down twice, because you watched me put them on the wax paper. I do put my alphas on wax paper like this because of the fact that I want to be able to move my title around to get the right placement before I end up committing to my page. Because even though some of these stickers don't like to stick, they will stick in the wrong spot where you don't want it every time. They won't stick in the right spot, but they will stick in the wrong spot. Okay, so I've got all my layouts done. Here's where I realized I put my yellow on the wrong side. Ugh, it's okay. I will deal with it. I even tried to see if it was going to magically fix itself, but I guess not. So this is how it will look in my layout, minus the gap of the 3-ring binder. But that is it. That is my layout for today. I had a blast putting this together. It was so much fun. I cannot tell you how excited I was to do these photos and have these scraps fall into place just for these photos. Now, I did not have these photos in mind when I was building the kit, but as I was building the kit, the photos came in mind. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes I start just building kits based off of like colors and the way that they are. And as I build them, photos and pictures that I would like to scrap with start coming into mind. And then I can personalize the embellishments from there. So I hope that helps if you guys are struggling a little bit on mixing and matching your collections to build page kits. Let the process flow. It really does work. If you guys just want to bring in pages that look good together, and then all of a sudden you'll get a click in the brain that says, I've got photos for this now. And it really does work, you guys. Oddly enough, it really does. All right. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I had a blast. This was so much fun. Dorothy, as always, I love your layouts. Thank you so much for allowing me to use you as inspiration. Don't forget to check out everyone else that is playing along with May I Scraplift You. I've got a list down below. And as always, I have a video here with Scrappin' on a Ship where I show the actual album that we created on the ship. So if you guys want to go check that out too, thank you again, and I'll check y'all later. Bye.